because I love her. That's Sparknose's job. It's beautiful. We might have a Hunger Games marathon on our hands. Good morning, everyone. Happy before 5:30 in the morning. Never filmed this early, but my roommate is not home, so normal people don't get up at 5 in the morning, just lunatics. For this week, I'm going to be embarking on a reading challenge. We did like a fun video last week where we're like reading until I find a 5-star read, and I decided I wanted to do something like that this week as well. Like nothing with us at TBR, just kind of like controlling how I read, not necessarily what I read, which is different than what I would usually do, but I'm switching things up. It's Mood Read March. I don't want to be restricting my reading. So obviously, as the title would suggest, I'm swapping my screen time out for reading time. But as of right now, my screen time on my phone has gone up. I definitely don't have the hugest amount of screen time. Like a lot of people have more than me. It has gone up and I don't like that. 4 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours. I think I averaged about 4 hours last week, which is just way too much for me. And I have noticed like an improvement in my mental health, or like weeks where I'm not using my phone as much. I'm definitely like feeling better and like being more present and in the moment. So I want to try to swap my screen time for reading time, because what am I doing on my phone? A lot of times I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm just like fucking around, and I don't need to be doing I need to be reading. The book I'm currently reading is Us Against You. This is my library copy. This is by Frederick Bogman. It is the sequel to Beartown. The bookmark is actually in the wrong place because I listened to some of the audiobook last night. Also, Libby doesn't have the widget thing anymore, which is very upsetting. So I'm about around the 130 page mark. It's kind of a long book, but I love Frederick Bogman and I just picked this up from the library. I might pick up more things from the library for this vlog, or I'll just look around to see what I have. I do have a couple books coming in the mail, and I have a couple new books that I bought. But yeah, this is what I'm currently reading, and now since it's 5:30, I would normally spend this time just like, sometimes I would read, but I got out of the habit of reading in the morning. I'm going to read for the little hour, maybe. I'm going to listen to my audiobook as I read physically. Okay guys, so I am all ready for the day, and I got to page 275 of Us Against You while not picking up my phone, only to play the audiobook and time my playing. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of the audiobook just while I was like getting ready and couldn't physically read. I also made a thumbnail and stuff like that. Very productive already. It's almost 7:30, so I have to go. Early morning classes. I forgot I had bangs, so I did them. We'll see how they wear for the rest of the day. But yeah, I'm already more than halfway done, and I made some really great progress. I got to just sit and read for an hour today, which was just like so lovely. So I'm going to go now. I'm gonna take my book with me, of course, and I'll probably update you later today. Quick update and rundown of how my reading and things went yesterday. For Us Against You, I made definitely the most amount of progress. I am on page, I think I'm 70% into it. I am on page 316. A little over 100 pages left in this one. Frederick Bogman. I don't know if I told you that I started an audiobook just for like when I was at the grocery store. I also listened to another audiobook like all the way through. I listened to All the Black and Teeth, but I don't feel like there was a lot to this story, and I'm not marking it on Goodreads because I'm just like, I listened to it and I don't know what happened, so just like not interesting. But anyway, I'm currently listening to the final revival of Opal and Nev. This is a very like Daisy Jones like story, which is why I talked about it in my Daisy Jones recommendation. This is about Opal and Nev. This is like an interracial duo that got started in like the late 60s, early 70s, and just obviously took the world by storm. And it is told in like an interview style. It's obviously like the past, and then there's like this tour that they're going on, this like revival tour. They're gonna like, you know, be back touring again for the first time in like 20 years or something. And then there's like a present timeline of like writing this book. It's interesting. It's full cast, so it's a really good audio, and I am having a good time reading that. It's just like giving me the exact right feels for a book like that. And then I'm also reading The Boy Band Murder Mystery because this is my book club's pick for March, and obviously I'm super excited about it. I'm not very excited about reading it because it's kind of meh, and I don't really like mystery books in general. I don't read them a lot because I just find them to be very slow, harder to get through. So I'm like 20 pages into that, and I'm going to read some more of that right now. But as for my screen time yesterday I used my phone for 52 minutes, and that's it. That was beautiful. Hello friends. I didn't update much yesterday. I did adhere to my goal of sticking to only using my phone for about an hour, which was great. However, I have been having really bad cramps that have been like debilitating, and that happened to me yesterday, and I was like literally like doubled over in pain quite a few times. So I didn't do much in regards to reading. I did, however, get book mail, which I'll show you. And then I also watched Hunger Games, which I thought was productive in a different way. I have never seen the Hunger Games. I watched it for the first time yesterday, and it was really fun. I had a really fun time watching it. I now have to watch all of them. I think they're coming off Netflix soon, which so is New Girl. Shocking. Literally so upsetting. Probably gonna be on Paramount Plus or some shit that I don't have. The Hunger Games is like gonna be on Netflix until the end of the month. Oh no, it's coming. It's leaving tomorrow. I didn't even know what day it was. Oh no. I have to watch all the Hunger Games movies. Okay. That's my quest. That's my new quest, actually. Who cares about this video? I'm gonna watch all the Hunger Games movies. That sounds like a fun thing I might do. Related to the screen time thing, I didn't go on my phone while watching this movie, and I haven't done that in so long. And like, it really kind of like had like an epiphany, kind of, because I was like, I don't know, the last time I just like was so engrossed in a movie, I didn't pick up my phone and just scroll through Instagram while I was also doing that. And like, it's really helping with the fact that I just always feel like I need to be doing 100 things, and it's very smart and I like it. I'm liking not being on my phone as much. It's like hard. It's hard to like restrict myself so much, and I definitely think that there are like healthier ways to like implement this, but for now, very restrictive I think is the way to go. We'll talk later about like carrying it forward and stuff. Anyways, first, my book update. I'm on page 370 of Us Against You, so I'm like almost done with this book. Yeah, I have been reading a lot of it mostly, and I have also listened to a bit of the audiobook because I have both, and I love my libraries. Shout out to the Boston Public Library. They're the best. I'm gonna go there tomorrow, hopefully to return this and then get some other books for the coming weeks, because I gotta stock up, you know what I mean? I'm still loving this. It's still like pulls at my heartstrings every day. Like, I don't even know what's happened in this book. Well, I could tell you what's happened in this book, but I wouldn't, because it's a sequel, and I would never tell you what happens in books. That's not my job. That's SparkNotes' job. I think it's just like there's not a lot like going on, but these characters are so strong that I can't help but keep reading them. So yes. Also, I got 2 books in the mail. One I kind of fucked up while I was opening it. I got I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid because I read We Spread at the beginning of this year, and it was like one of my favorite horror books of all time. So this is like his most popular one, and I think it's like a Netflix film. It's right there on the cover. Got it from Pango. And then I also got A Man Called Ove because I'm in my Frederick Bachman phase right now. I'm trying not to say era because it really bugs me. I'm in a Frederick Bachman phase right now. This, I know, is a book that my mom wants to read, so I have to read it before her so that I can go give it to her when I see her in a couple weeks. This will be probably my next Bachman, even though I really want to read the rest of the Beartown series. And it's on my April TBR, which I just filmed. I'm like just filming and editing like a freaking mad person because I keep like wanting to edit, which is like crazy to me because I never want to edit. If I posted my raw footage, disgusting. I don't know how much more reading I'm going to be doing today because I have to go back to class soon. I was doing some readings for class, but I might read in class. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on it. Taking this into consideration, the final day to watch the film series on the platform will be Thursday, the 30th. We might have a Hunger Games marathon on our hands. So update, I have not finished Catching Fire. I have like 30 minutes left. Could not stay up last night. I was not going to. I go to bed early, guys. Have we met me? I did, however, finish Us Against You. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Are we surprised? I love this book. I love the series. I love Frederick Bachman. Thinking, like, I'm trying to like sell the sequel to you, but I think if you read Beartown, you loved Beartown, I feel like you would read the sequels. Like, I just feel like it makes sense. I mean, it's a fucked up world, as we know, but like, oh God. Beautiful. It's beautiful. I love all these characters, and like every time he like kills people or makes bad things happen to them, I'm like, I didn't even know I cared about this character, and it hurts. But anyway, I recommend reading it. So I read this. I have to go return to the library today. The book I'm thinking of starting is How High We Go in the Dark. I'm also going to annotate this so I have my tabs in and ready to go. I did start this book weeks ago, but I put it down and wait until I had it in my hands physically. This is like about this Arctic plague, this virus that spreads mostly to young people. There's just a bunch of different stories about people who are affected by this, because most people are, and how they're dealing with that. It kind of starts with like the first discovery of the virus, and then follows like a sequential kind of thing. So I'm going to like start it again from the beginning. I have to read an anthology for a class, and I picked this one. I'm very interested in this and I've heard good things about it. It is called a novel, but it is like, I'm gonna count it as an anthology because the short stories have been published separately, and that is my main claim as to why this is an anthology and not a novel. And I'm going to argue that with my teacher, so that's gonna be fun. But I'm gonna start this again from the beginning so I can tab it and annotate it and stuff, and also just like get back into the world. I only read the first 2 stories, so. But yeah, this is what I'm gonna start. I am going to the library today though, and I have a list of a few things that I want to pick up. So if I am more intrigued by the things that I get from the library, I might start those as well. Library book haul. So I got 2 books, 2 out of the 4 that I wanted. Looked up what books the library had, and the funny thing about the Boston Public Library is that it's like amasses of many different libraries. I had my hair in braids today and now it's like doing things. Anyway, and so like it can be available in like any of their like 16 libraries, and it will say it's available, and I was like, oh, funny. So anyway, I got 2 of the books that I wanted. Got The Heart Principle. This I'm reading for a video soon. This was on my TBR because I'm reading it for that video. I'll tell you, I don't care. I'm doing like a second chance authors video. I previously, I think, rated a Helen Huang book 2 stars. I'll have more information in that video, but I think I would like this one. Shelved under romance, but I've heard it's more like women's fiction. Oh gosh, it's about a YouTube star. Interesting. But it has to do with music. Actually, that sounds really interesting. I'm excited. I know it deals with like grief as well, which is why I think I'll like it, because I like stories about grief. Weird. And then I got Disorientation because I saw this last time I was at the library, and I was like, please, I hope they have it again, because it's so strange. Like, it just looks so weird. Like, it says there's like drug hallucinations, and like that sounds so fun to me. Someone got stuff on this book. It just sounds interesting. Short fiction appears in Plowshares. It's run by my college. That's so cool. Anyways, so I picked this up because I want to read more literary fiction. Again, it's on my April TBR because it's April in a day or 2, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna read another book in the month. As far as my Hunger Games goes, I finished Catching Fire and I started Mockingjay. I got really tired today, and I am still very low energy, which is why I'm like pushing my voice out. How do you normally talk? I don't know. I am very tired, but I'm trying my best. So I am about halfway through Mockingjay part 1. It's just so sad. Like, it's really down. But I do think I might like listen to an audiobook and read at some point. I really want to read The Mirror Season. I'm really in the mood for this because it's like magical realism, but it also deals with some heavier topics, and it's a YA. So it's like a lot of things that I'm into / just I'm in the mood for right now. But my library didn't have it today, which was sad. They had other Anna-Marie McLemore's, but they did not have this one, which was sad. But I do have it on my iPad. I love my iPad so much because I love that I have like The Catcher in the Rye, which is like one of my favorite classics, and then I just have like Begin Again, which is like just Emma Lord, because I love her. So like, same. People are always like, huh? So I do want to start that at some point, because I did restart Highway in the Dark. I'm 14 pages into it. Not like necessarily in the mood for this right now, just because I have a hard time with short stories. I have to read a lot for class, and I have never really enjoyed short stories, both like reading them and writing them. It is what it is. I have to read this, and I want to read this. Like, I think it's interesting, and because it's like marketed as a novel is very interesting to me as well. I'm just not like wanting to pick it up at the present moment.
The runtime of the Hunger Games,
2 hours and 17 minutes. So I have like 3 hours and 15-ish minutes of watching to do. I will read for like 20 minutes, get a start on The Mirror Season. Actually, I'll start the audiobook now because I have the audiobook, and then go to watching movies for the rest of the night. I just realized I haven't given you a proper synopsis of The Mirror Season, and that's what I'm reading right now, so I need to do that for you. I did a little bit of editing. My video is 5 hours long, so it's gonna take a minute. I'm reading The Mirror Season. I'm like 15 pages in, so I can tell you what it's about. So this has to do with 2 teenagers, a girl and a boy, and they both went to the same party, and they were both sexually assaulted at this party. And they were like in not connecting rooms, but like rooms next to each other. And so they're kind of forever tied because of this trauma that they both experienced. The girl feels this kind of responsibility for the guy because she left him the hospital after that night. You kind of see them as their relationship starts forming because they didn't know each other before this, and how, you know, such trauma is just impacting their lives. And there's also, as with most Anna Marie McLemore books, this is like a magical realism, so there's also our main character, she has like this innate ability to like guess what kind of pastries any particular person wants, or what would like fulfill them, and can give that to them. So I really like the descriptions of like baked goods. That's one of my favorite things. Really like that. And then there's also this imagery of glass, and glass, particularly like mirror like shards that our main character keeps finding and is kind of collecting to kind of conceal, because these are kind of like the shards of herself in some regard. And yeah, they're just like mirror shards because of this kind of mirror experience that these two characters have that is shared. So it's really interesting. It's obviously really sad and definite trigger warnings for those things, but I do really like Anna Marie McLemore's writing, and I always find these books to be very important. I am 52 pages into it. I'm reading on my laptop right now, which is because my iPad is charging, and also watching some booktube, just kind of in the background. I have a bit of a headache though, so yeah, I'm just gonna read because I don't have much else to do today. So I haven't updated in a minute, but it is Sunday night. I have kind of just been in my little editing cave all weekend and have spent maybe like 12 hours editing in the past 2 days. My video's not even done, so. But I did finish a book today, and I am gonna read before I go to bed. So I finished the Mirror season. I did sprints on my channel to edit, but I also finished up. I listened to the last, I don't even know, like the last fifth maybe on audio. I did really like physically reading it as well. I settled on a 4-star because I think that like magical realism elements just didn't really mesh well with me, but it is like a very harrowing read, and I think it is written very beautifully, and the characters are so compelling. I do like parts of the magical realism elements, like I like the baking, but the like glass mirror stuff felt like it could have just stayed like a metaphor and had the same effect. Yeah, it was really hard to read, but it was really beautiful. But for tonight, switching gears, I'm thinking of ending things. I am going to start this because I want to read before I go to sleep. I think that this is just like a classic Ian Reid of just being like very weird and like unsettling, but I'm going to read this. If you miss my bookmark shop as much as I do, let me know. But I'm going to read some of this, and then I'll wrap up the vlog tomorrow. Alright guys, so it is time to wrap up this swapping my screen time for my reading time. The results are in, so this is annoying because my phone shows the week as from Sunday to Saturday, and I count a week as from Monday to Sunday, so I was doing it that way. So yesterday was definitely my highest screen time day, Sunday, because I had FaceTime calls. I usually FaceTime my parents and just like my brother and stuff on Sundays. That definitely is a factor. But so Sunday was 1 hour and 54 minutes. So I averaged about 1 hour and 6 or 7 minutes every day, which is really good. Kind of like any challenge experiment like this, I do think that there are parts of this that are just not sustainable. Anything like NaNoWriMo or, you know, not using your phone and reading instead is just not gonna work all the time. But there are things that I want to like use and like implement in my routine going forward. I think that I started to have a new relationship with my phone and started to see it more as like almost a flip phone. Like this is meant for like calling and texting, like not to play games or like scroll forever on Instagram or watch YouTube videos and stuff. And I really relied on like my other pieces of technology. Like I was reading on my iPad sometimes, or watching YouTube on here, or I was like reading or watching something on my laptop. Like I have that like freedom, and I thought that was really interesting. But I also feel like I was almost had this fear around using my phone because I wanted to make my time so low, and that's not something that I want to have. I don't want to carry that forward. I want to have like feel bad about using my phone, because it's like, I mean, I'm like very, very privileged that I get to have this piece of technology in my fucking back pocket. So, you know, it's there to be used. But I think that it definitely like changed how I didn't feel like I needed to be on my phone at all this week, which was really lovely. I felt like I was really present in either reading or if I was watching a movie. Like I watched the Hunger Games movies this week, and like I got to like just watch them and like not scroll on my phone, which I didn't realize was a thing that I so rarely do, is like just actually watch something and not multitask. Hopefully my time will stay around the 1 hour mark as I got it to this week. You know, some days it's gonna be more, some days it's gonna be less, and that's fine. But just like developing more healthy relationships with my phone is very important to me because I love her. We can't be so dependent on one another. That is my little experiment. Hopefully my time won't go up too much or I will do this video again. I didn't actually do a lot of reading. I finished 2 books, I think, in this video. And I did, like I said, I started I'm Thinking of Anything. And I read some of this last night, but I'm gonna be reading more of this in my next vlog. Let me know if you want to try this or like you're thinking about trying it. And also what your current like average screen time is right now, because I'm so curious. Like I told my friends yesterday when I was out with them that I got my screen time down to like 1 hour this week, and they were like, oh my god, I can never do that. I want to know what your screen time is right now. Like your average screen time. Tell me in the comments. Confess. Other than that, that is all I have for you for this spin on a weekly reading vlog. I will be back next week for more stuff, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe to all the things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.